Since we last spoke, quite a number of things have happened. Your board has resigned at SAA, or were they rotated? I'm not sure what happened. Tell us a little bit about that event, because there was a little bit of a breakdown in trust, either way, one would think. If one side is saying that we resigned and you were saying that they were about to be rotated anyway, what happened there?
It was a case of, if you follow soccer,
Yeah.
it was a case of a team abandoning a match before the referee blows the final whistle.
Okay.
The game was ending anyway.
All right.
So whether you waited until the end of 90 minutes or you left before the end of 90 minutes, after 90 minutes plus referee's optional time, the game was up. So that's what happened. I think members of the board were quite distressed by the leak that happened a week earlier. I was extremely unhappy myself. This was the third time that I had experienced a leak of this nature. When you relate to board members, you are dealing with people whose worth is their reputations. These are people who have other things to do in business other than being on the boards of state-owned companies. It is expected of the state as the shareholder that you would treat them with the respect that and courtesies that they deserve. In this instance, as in the other two instances last year, I wasn't afforded. There was a bit of a lag between the time when the decision was taken and the time when it was implemented. And in the intervening period, somebody discourteously and outrightly maliciously decided to undermine the integrity of the state and leak the decision of cabinet. I had a discussion with the outgone chair of the board of SAA about that, where I had expressed my regret about it, and we had agreed that they were going to stay on until the end of their term, which was the AGM on the 15th October. And perhaps they thought that they needed, nonetheless, to resign before the end of
Wasn't
that
the
term.
issue over the financial statements, though? They were saying that they were ready, and you were saying that they weren't ready.
They had requested me to negotiate a guarantee for them with the National Treasury. As from May this year, we had been in discussions with the National Treasury about the government guarantee for SAA. The external auditors of SAA had indicated that SAA would get a qualified audit if the guarantee had not been secured, because there were going concerns about the financials of the airline. And in the process of those negotiations, and because they are not easy, you wouldn't expect that the National Treasury or even my department would jump merely because one entity says to us, we need a guarantee. We have to ask questions about why you need the guarantee. We have to evaluate your books. We've got to study everything that you present to us. And that is what happened. That's why the process took this much, because as well as all South Africans, we were concerned about the fact that SAA had come back to government to request another guarantee, that there were going concern issues that were being raised about the airline. We were not going to simply jump and without studying this issue rigorously, just simply say, oh, you want the money, here's the money. And so these issues were impacting on their financials. Yes, their annual report was ready, but the discussions with National Treasury were not completed. We didn't know what the guarantee committee was going to say in terms of the guarantees
Okay.
that the conditions that would be attached to the
So what you're
guarantees.
saying is there was a significant contingent liability. Okay, moving on. It's full time, but then your team captain quits the team. The CEO, was that a surprise?
It was a surprise. We had not anticipated it. It was regrettable that it happened, but then it happens. CEOs in all companies resign at one point or the other. The CEO of Anglo American has just resigned. The CEO of a big company, Goldman Sachs, resigned a few weeks ago.
So it wasn't a
because-
reflection of what was going on?
No. Nothing of that sort whatsoever.
All right, let's talk about the future now. What's the new board going to do different? Because the airline is hemorrhaging money, guarantees, billions. What's the new board going to do that the old one couldn't?
We have given them a responsibility to submit to Cabinet a long-term vision and strategy. Included in that strategy is the fleet procurement strategy. The fact of the matter, there are two big challenges that SAA faces. One is that the airline had never been properly capitalized. The second big challenge is that the airline had never presented to government a long-term strategy which provides certainty in government that we know what we're doing, we know where we're taking the state airline to, and how we are going to run and manage it. That's what the new board needs to do, to ensure that government has a degree of confidence about where this airline is going to and what type of support now and in future. Not only financial support, because the relationship between SAA and government must not merely be a financial relationship. There must be more that ensures that government is able to provide support to SAA. That includes addressing issues that involve human movement, the transit visas, that includes addressing issues of how do we view the airline playing a role in supporting our tourism strategy as a country, and a whole range of other issues.
Is this not a case of a shareholder running the business when the shareholder should be stepping back?
The shareholder is not running the business. We don't decide who gets employed. We don't decide what other operational issues take place in SAA, but the issue of strategy is the issue of the shareholder, and we are very much interested in it, especially if we have to fork out money, because South Africans are genuinely concerned about the ability of this airline to be sustainable. And that concern doesn't belong to South Africans only. It also belongs to the state as the shareholder.
All right, so we're going to pause for a moment, and then when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. The other enterprises that we need to chat about, and I'm sure you at home are concerned about the proposed tariff hikes in your electricity. We'll get a view from the Minister after this. Stay with us.